The story of Easter. In the church today, the resurrection takes place, and all Christians celebrate Easter. Do you know what we celebrate at Easter? Let's find out together. We will go back about 2,000 years when God sent His Son Jesus to earth. When Jesus grew up, He taught, together with His disciples, about the love of God. He performed many miracles, healed many people, He calmed the sea from the storm. Jesus' most famous miracle was the raising of Lazarus. His exploits began to be talked about, and his reputation grew. So when he arrived in Jerusalem for the celebration of the Jewish Passover, the crowd greeted him enthusiastically with bay leaves in their hands. This reputation of his did not please the chief priests of the Jews at all, who did not agree with what he did, nor did they like that he claimed to be the Son of God. So they wanted to get rid of him. Judas, one of Christ's disciples, agreed to help them. You see, Judas loved money so much that he agreed to betray Christ for 30 pieces of silver. Jesus, knowing the betrayal that would follow, gathered his disciples for a last meal, the Last Supper. Before the meal began, Christ washed the feet of all his disciples. First, he took a loaf of bread, cut it into pieces, and distributed it to all of the disciples, saying, "This is my body." Then he gave them a cup of wine and said, "This is my blood." He even told them that one of those eating with him would betray him. All the disciples were surprised and asked, "I will betray you, my Christ?" Jesus said that to whom he gives the bread, he will betray him. And he gave it to Judas. Judas left the Last Supper. The next day, Christ went to the Garden of Gethsemane with his disciples to pray, but they fell asleep. After a while, Judas approached with the Roman soldiers. He pointed to Jesus. They arrested him. And led him before the chief priests. They asked him if he really is the Messiah, the Son of God. When he answered them that he really is, they got angry and decided that he is guilty and must die. Then the soldiers took Jesus before the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. Pilate did not believe that Jesus had done anything wrong and wanted to release him. But the crowd shouted loudly to order his crucifixion and that they wanted him dead. So Pontius Pilate ordered Christ to be crucified. And then he washed his hands to show that he was not responsible. The soldiers tortured Jesus and put a crown of thorns on his head to mock him, since they called him a king. They even made him carry the cross by himself on the hill of Golgotha, where the crucifixion would take place. When the soldiers arrived, they nailed him to the cross between two robbers. Jesus was now waiting for his martyrdom. Under the cross was his mother, the Virgin Mary. A few hours later, the sky darkened. There was a great earthquake, and Jesus breathed his last. The earthquake tore the veil of Solomon's temple. One of his soldiers, who saw what happened, exclaimed that he was indeed the Son of God after all. A man whose name was Joseph took and placed the lifeless body of Jesus in his own tomb. He even closed the door with a large rock, while soldiers guarded the entrance. After 2 days, on Sunday morning, the women who went to take care of Christ's body found the tomb empty. An angel outside told them not to worry, but that Jesus had risen. For the next 40 days, Christ appeared to his disciples, and to many he even showed them that he was alive. On the 40th day, in front of his 11 disciples, Jesus ascended into heaven. His disciples followed their teacher's prompting, became apostles, and went around the world teaching the Word of God. I think you now know what we celebrate the resurrection and Easter. Is not that right?